Hello YouTube, I call myself Zondagskind and I like to play Civilization 6. And it is the first recording session of 2023 for me, so a happy new year. And I would like to play a game of Civilization 6 for you. The last playlist with Tokugawa Ieyasu was footage taken from a Twitch stream, and I would like to try out just recording for YouTube and playing like that. And I'm going to do that with the new Suleiman Muhteşem, or Suleiman the Magnificent, which was added in the new leader pass recently. So, I will also make a challenge with this. Since I make those retroactively, I will have to edit that in now.
The challenge you can play along with is called Chasing the Lava. Why, you will find out in a moment. The save is in the Discord, so you can find a link to that in the description, or you can input these settings by hand. The achievements are Patronage of Mimar Sinan, build 3+ wonders in the capital. Ottoman-French alliance, finish with at least one level 2 alliance. Note that Wisselbanke helps speed up the leveling up of alliances. Muhteşem Yüzyıl, finish the game during a golden age. A more peaceful time, finish the game gaining 25+ diplomatic favor per turn. Alliances and suzerainties will help you here. And Memories of Ibrahim Pasha, finish with all governors assigned and 9+ policy cards. Note that, for example, democracy inherently has 8 policy cards. So, good luck, and let's get to the settings I used. So, we have the new Suleiman, who is the counterpart to Suleiman Kanuni, or the Lawgiver. And it is a very interesting kit. Suleiman Kanuni is amazingly strong, specifically for a domination victory, thanks to his unique governor, who gives you, among other things, production towards units, the general Ottoman kit of production towards siege unit and some bonuses from conquering things, but most of all the Janissary. The Janissary is an absolute nightmare of a unit for the AI to be up against. Probably the best unit in the game. But I think that this is a very interesting counterpart to it. Basically, the leader kit loses Janissary, which is a very severe nerf on its own. But on the other hand, there is a very nice science and culture bonus when you're in a golden or heroic age, which I think on single player you will most often be. And when you're not in a golden or heroic age, you will have extra combat strength. That means I think that Muhteşem is a lot weaker on domination, certainly, and maybe even overall just because of how good the Janissary is. But on the other hand, he is much more of a generalist leader. So I think that is a very interesting design choice. And we are going to be playing with him on a large island plates map against the Meier, Byzantium, Scotland, Poland, France with Black Queen Catherine, the Mapuche, the Zulu, America with Rough Rider Teddy Roosevelt, and against the Netherlands. With abundant resources, New World Age, Wet Rainfall. I don't think I changed the amount of city-states. I didn't handpick them either. And we will be playing with Apocalypse mode, Barbarian Clans mode, Dramatic Ages mode, and Heroes and Legends mode. Specifically Dramatic Ages, because there is a special bonus for being in a golden age. So I think that makes the era score game a little more interesting to do dramatic. Does mean that I'll basically be avoiding war, because I actually don't want to do domination with him. Why would I do domination with Muhteşem if I can do that amazingly with Kanuni? No, let's do a victory condition that Kanuni doesn't do amazingly well. Let's try for culture. I've actually already rolled 5 starts, and let's just take a look at those 5. I've already decided which one I will play, but let's analyze them together. Okay, start 1. So what am I looking for here? Well, first of all, on deity you're basically always looking for good tiles to start with, and we definitely have a couple of those. This is a good tile, 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 this is a good tile. Why? Because we have 2 2s, that's
the basic thing you're looking for. You're looking for food and production. And this tile has even more. And basically you can always substitute it like a 2-2 for a 3-1 or a 1-3. So all of these tiles are nice to start with. As you can see, quite a lot of coast, which in the early game with a civ who doesn't have any particularly bonus towards harbors is kind of tricky, especially because actually you don't want a lot of harbors with Suleiman because you want to build the Grand Bazaar. On the other hand, you do have a naval unit, but it only comes in through the mid-game. So, this is a bit of an awkward start. You do get some potentially good harbors. You have a luxury which isn't great if you're going to work it, at least initially, because it's only 2 food, 1 culture, and then the plantation gives 2 gold, so you're getting no production on this tile. That's why you might consider settling it, but then I see no 4 yield tiles around it. So it's all a bit awkward. Probably the best place to settle is here. A harbor here or here. I think here, because I think I would rather build a mausoleum here than a mausoleum here. But this start to me gets like a 5 out of 10. Okay, start number 2. And first let's address those 2-2s I was talking about for the first save. Well, that's even harder, this one. You can't settle in place and get any 2-2s. If, for example, you were to settle on the citrus, which I think is the ideal tile to settle on, you would have a pretty big surplus of food in your capital immediately for food 1 production, because the city center always does a minimum of 2 food 1 production. Then you do have a 2-2 plus culture tile and a 2-2 here, but you would have to grow into them. Most likely this is the first tile you would grow into after, I think, 10 turns. But this, at least for the first dozen turns, is going to hurt you quite a bit. Also, we have a volcano, and I will remind you that we are playing on Apocalypse mode. Having a volcano, even in the 3rd ring of your capital city, is a pretty risky proposition. Some positives: you have a +4 harbor waiting for you. That's pretty nice. Let's just check real quick. No, this is... Oh, you do have a good holy site here waiting for you. And if you... well, if you settled here and you put a holy site here, then this would be a +3 campus. So the districting isn't terrible. So this, I think, is worse than the last one. So I'm going to go 4 out of 10. Right. Spawn number 3. So, the 2-2s. We have a 2-2 here, which if we settle on it will also become a 2-2, because you lose the 1 food from chopping the rainforest, but then your city center has a minimum of 2 food, so you will keep 2-2. You have a stone tile with 2-2, and you will grow into 1, 2, 3, and eventually 4 more tiles with 4 yields. You could also debate settling on the amber to immediately have 1 extra culture in your capital. I think I would rather settle in place and then make mining a fairly high priority and get an amber mine, because that will also give you the Eureka to the wheel, plus eventually a Eureka towards apprenticeship, 3 mines. And I don't see any other mining resources immediately that I can improve. We could get more information by moving the warrior. I still don't see it, so now I have to decide whether I move my settler. And at this point, I don't see any other mining resources. I want to improve this amber, so I do not want to settle it. So, at most I could debate going onto the stone, but then I move away from 2 4-yield tiles. I'm a little sad that there's literally no way to get more than a +2, or if you make a district triangle, +3 harbor in my capital. I mean, if I'm getting a harbor, I kind of want there to be a fishing resource next to it. Here we have the 4th spawn, and I'm going to bury the lead a bit. First, let's look at the 2-2s. Well, we would start with a 2-2 if we settle in place, because the woods will go away, so it will be 1 food, 2 production. The city gives a minimum of 2 food, so 2-2. Then, in the immediate, first ring, there won't be any. Alternatively, we could decide to settle over here. Then we do have 2 1-3 tiles in our first ring. But I'm not sure if that is immediately better. So it's a little low on food, as you can see, and that is a potential problem. Other than that, tundra nearby is a little concerning, although it's not too bad just yet. The 1 faith is nice. On the other hand, I'm not sure if I would want to be working this tile immediately, because also it is just 1 food. So yeah, food is an issue. Gypsum is interesting. On one hand, I really like that resource. It's a quarry resource, which means it also gives you a eureka towards masonry. And the fact that I immediately have 3 of it means I can sell luxuries to the AI for a lot of gold. On the other hand, you might decide that quarries are not worth your time because you would rather have a lot of appeal in a culture game. So it's a tricky start. Just off of that, it does seem like a potent start with a lot of woods to chop if you want wonders. But, like I said, I'm burying the lead here. We see on these tiles 1 extra production because a Plains Hills is supposed to have 1 food, 2 production, and this tile has 1 food, 3 production. With woods, it should have 1 food, 3 production. This tile has 1 food, 4 production. What is happening here? Well, since it's the first start of a game, it cannot have been by a forest fire. This has to be a natural wonder. Now, what I did is I went to the Civilization 6 wiki and looked up which wonders gave 1 production to adjacent tiles. And unless I missed one, I'm pretty sure that this is either Lucifjord, naval combat units that enter adjacent plots are granted their next promotion, adjacent plots yield +1 production, or it is Mount Vesuvius, a volcano which provides 1 production to adjacent tiles and erupts with large population loss. Now, there is a way to see which one it is, because in the settler lens you will see whether there is a volcano affecting a tile or not. So if there is not going to be a volcano icon here, this is Lucifjord. If there is going to be a volcano icon here, it is Mount Vesuvius. I regret to inform you that we are fairly close to Mount Vesuvius. Now that is actually still fine. Mount Vesuvius is over here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles away from a settler. So we could settle here, 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 and the capital would not be affected. Any city we do settle close to Mount Vesuvius will be affected by eruptions, but we might just decide that that is worth it. At least it means we are very close to having the Eureka to Astrology, which in a culture game, perhaps with this civ, isn't the most important thing ever, but generally in culture games, it is nice if you can get a bunch of faith generation. But yeah, it's a natural wonder start, and even though it is Mount Vesuvius on freaking apocalypse mode, that is a really interesting start. So I would give this a, I think, 7 out of 10. 5th and final spawn. What do we have here? Well, honestly, again, we kind of have a lack of food, but I'll get into more of that later. What I do like is that we spawn right on a geothermal fissure.
And one thing you didn't see, because this is a spawn I already made, and so it doesn't give you the Eureka or Inspiration notification again, but we have the Foreign Trade Inspiration. We have found an extra continent. There it is. Which is always very nice. And it makes sense because that often happens around geothermal fissures. But this location means, first of all, we can start a city with 2 food, 2 production, and 1 science. We also have gypsum again, and we have diamonds, which is a mineable resource. So again, the wheel and apprenticeship implications are there. On top of that, with the sporadic mountains, we might have good holy site locations. And while I did say that, again, there is kind of a lack of food in general, there is at least this rice marsh, which we can make a 5 food tile. And if we get a watermill in our city center, it will even be 6 food. So that can carry at least 3 tiles worth of citizens. So in terms of districts and like general city setup, this is pretty okay. This is pretty potent. This might objectively be as strong as the 4th spawn. So I think I will give it a 7 rating. I think I'm more interested in the natural wonder spawn. And I did do a vote on Discord, and the 4th spawn was one of the 2 that won. So I am going to start with that 4th spawn and hope that I don't get deity'd. We founded Istanbul, and let's have a warrior explore north, and we will get a scout who will find Vesuvius for us. So, like I said, sadly we are not starting with 8 total yields. That's kind of the ideal setup you want to go for normally. We have 7 yields, lacking a bit of food, but we will get by with that. And I think I would like to go for mining first, to get those quarries online. We have a Goody hut. Let's move our warrior up. Ooh, it does seem like we might be on a fairly small landmass. That is really not ideal. That is really not ideal. Well, in that case, I definitely won't want another scout. I think I will, in fact, slot in an early builder. Sorry. Let's find Vesuvius.
The sea seemed to roll back upon itself, and to be driven from its banks by the convulsive motion of the earth. It is certain at least the shore was considerably enlarged, and several sea animals were left upon it. On the other side, a black and dreadful cloud, broken with rapid, zigzag flashes, revealed behind it variously shaped masses of flame.
Thank you very much. Astrology boost. Like we thought, this is a dead end. Let's explore the area around Mount Vesuvius a bit. And let's get that Goody hut for sure. We'll actually get this other Goody hut with the warrior. If it is a relic, that is, of course, a pretty potent start. It's a builder! Well, now I feel stupid for building that builder here, but I guess I'll just keep going with that. And the scout will find this Goody hut. Thank you very much. Population, just what I needed, honestly. In that case, I'll actually go out of the builder and start working on a settler. Very good. And let's go for, I think, animal husbandry. So now at least, if we are going to work a 1-2, we're also going to work a tile with a little extra gold, little extra production. Feels nice. You can go over there. The warrior will just come down, as long as there's nothing to do for you. So it seems we're actually on a small peninsula again. Let's go for Alpine on our scout. Let's actually get this tile, because I want the extra production. I like production. And it means we can immediately sell our resource once we find someone. We have found Gazagamu. It is a first meet, which means we get extra production on our units. Amazing. And let's have you head on here.
That is best.
Discipline and God King. It would be really nice if you would let me get this goody hot. Thank you. Let's go for craftsmanship. Try not to die to Vesuvius. Let's get that goody hot. Earned experience. That is not a great promotion. Let's keep exploring. You would like to give me a galley. I refuse. Get a mine. Craftsmanship boost. And our warrior needs to come back for this barbarian problem. Let's actually settle Vesuvius. So where do we want this city? I need to do a little pinning of national parks to decide where we settle the city near Mount Vesuvius. So thank you so much for watching, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then do of course leave a like. If you want to comment that I should have taken one of the other starts, then do leave a comment. In any case, you can subscribe and ding the bell to make sure you know when the next episode is going up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.